Sweet.
So the first thing that I think is really important when I'm looking at your OPGG is that you don't play much. It
Uh-huh.
seems like last season you have a grand total of about it's about 60, 40, well, so about
Around like
150
100.
games, 150 games in a season.
Yeah, around between 100, 150, I
And a
think.
season before that, it was even less.
Yeah.
So is there like a time restraint that you have or something like that?
Um, Beginning of this season, I actually joined the military.
Uh-huh.
So I played in the first like trimester or like the I forgot what they're called when you get the you know how like you got the ranked armor, the ranked orders and stuff. You got like the wings and the sword.
Oh yeah,
How you
the
get the
first
ranked
split is
rewards.
what they call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I played through the first split, and then I like went to boot camp, and then I went through like training and stuff, and
Hmm.
then after when I got back, I got to play in the like the very end of the second split, and then a little bit throughout the third split. But I guess kind of like when the season starts, I guess I kind of had that like splurge of motivation because at the end of season 8, I was really finding myself like enjoying League of Legends and stuff, having a lot of fun with like Xin and learning and stuff like that. And then I just wanted to keep going, so I kept playing Xin because I saw my win rate uh, was around 56% like in draft and in ranked solo in season 8,
Hmm.
and I felt really good with him and comfortable with him. And I was like learning how vision worked, just how the whole jungle worked, what objectives I should be going for, how to balance everything. So I continued to play him in season 9 when it started, but I felt like I just reached like either a plateau. And I talked to some other people as well, but they're kind of telling me like, hey, you're getting like fine KD and like your CSing is fine and stuff like that. It's just your champion isn't in the greatest state right now. And sure enough, when I like looked at like win rates and stuff, um, he was less than like 50% uh, during the beginning of the season. So I tried moving to like J4 because he had a similar like knock up and bruiser and aggressive early game stuff like that. So
Sure.
then I like really enjoyed him, and he was a lot better in the meta at that time. And I also enjoyed started playing Nunu by the end of it. But time restraint wise, I guess kind of like joining the military was kind of just the middle split kind of threw me off. But I guess I want to pursue having played more games. I just don't. I just want to know that I'm like playing the games adequately and like learning every single time I'm playing them, and not like just playing games mindlessly. You know,
Hmm.
I just
Yeah.
I want to always be in like a focused state to be able to play.
Okay, that's good to hear. But the one thing that kind of piques my curiosity is how much time do you have outside of military
Like
work do you
work and
have to
stuff.
play?
Honestly, dude, I have a decent like decent amount of time. So I just work like a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and then weekends.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I'm absolutely free on the weekends, and then after I get off work, I'm typically fine unless I need to do some extra stuff around the house. But
Okay, cool.
other than
Yeah,
that,
okay. So there isn't really
I have
a
plenty
time
of time.
constraint. Yeah, so you
Yeah,
have the
no,
time, and if you really wanted to, you could like sink a bunch of time into it if you wanted to.
absolutely.
Cool. That's great to hear. Because I was just making sure that there was like, because I know that there's some people who, when they go to the military, they don't really have a lot of time,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they
Thankfully, I'm
end
not
up
in
playing
that
like one
boat.
game a week or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But if that's the case, then yeah, we don't have to go so restricted with what I was planning on doing. So the first thing I want to say is that there's a lot of weird things going on when you talk about things like meta and like champion picks and stuff like that.
Uh huh.
That's not really that important for you right now because
Hmm.
the way that low elo works is that the thing that matters the most in those games is generally player skill. If a
Okay.
understands the game well enough and plays well, then they can pretty much pick anything, use any rune, pick any summoners, and they can still win the game. That's
Okay.
why there's the whole like unranked to challenger series that some people
Yeah.
like to do because the players are so good at the base game itself, the fundamental skills, so that they don't
Hmm.
actually need to play certain champions or stuff like that. The
Yeah,
reason
that
why
makes sense.
people will, lean on meta or special builds or something like that is because their gameplay itself, when they're in control, isn't adequate enough to make them carry. So they
Okay.
choose to do some strange stuff and maybe looking for cheaper and quicker fixes to their problems, but they aren't necessarily healthy for them in the long run if you're trying to improve as a player as a whole.
Okay.
So, so the first thing I want to say about the champion stuff is Xin Zhao's actually really, really good for learning. He's
Uh
like
huh.
basically the perfect champion. Well, not perfect, perfect, but like I would say that for the jungle role, he's like a great pick for
Yeah.
learning how to play.
Every single video or anything I've heard, they always suggest Xin Zhao for
Yeah,
coming into the jungle and learning and everything like that.
Xin Zhao, Rammus, Sejuani, all these champions are really, really good for learning how to play jungle because they have really simple kits as well as what they need to do in the inside of the game is very straightforward. So the tanks just want to CC and just lock up people and take damage.
Yeah.
Xin
Absolutely.
Zhao can kind of play that role, but he also has the option of just deleting people off their screen, so that's
Yeah.
wonderful. The next thing I want you to try and get your mind off of is that you don't need meta to climb.
Uh huh.
Because there's one trick players, right? And they can sometimes hit challenger. And
Yeah.
so you have to
Absolutely.
wonder, well, if they are playing, these really awkward, bad champions, well, how do they climb? And then that becomes either they are doing something weird and wonky that makes it
Hmm.
so that they can win, or they're very, very good at fundamental skills. And
Okay.
generally speaking, the one tricks that play in Korea, it's more true of them than other servers because the server is the hardest on the world, or at
Uh
least
huh.
the publicly known servers. The
Yeah.
problem
That
is
makes
that we
sense.
don't know anything about China. I don't know anything about Chinese servers
Yeah.
because it's like because there's this whole super server that they have where to get onto the server Ionia you have to be at least D1 plus on the general servers in China,
Huh.
and we don't know anything about that unless you've played on it. So
Yeah. It's interesting.
that server might be the best in the world, but as far as the public knows, Korea is the best, and that's
Okay.
because the players play the hardest there and they really want to win.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So generally speaking, when one tricks succeed on that server, it's because they have really they've done something extremely unique where they can refine the strengths of their champions or just play fundamentally extremely well.
Okay.
So that's the first, that's what I wanted to say about the champion stuff. And
Yeah. That makes
you
sense.
don't need to be concerned with that. You really don't. If you play something that you enjoy and you understand fundamental stuff about the game, you will climb. That is how the
Okay.
game works. That's how the system works, and
You're right.
that's a great thing. So without all that out of the way, what exactly is your goal with League? You said something along the lines of you want to be not autopiloting and trying to focus every game, right?
Yeah.
But
I wanna be learning. Like at first, I just was like, man, I just want to climb. I want to climb. I want to see my rank get higher and higher. But then like after like playing games and stuff, I mean, I was like, okay, obviously this isn't the right mindset. I'm not happy when I'm going to games thinking this way. So I obviously I want to win, but at the same time I want to genuinely get better, not only with a champion but at understanding the league overall. So I just want to get better and then like kind of have winning as a byproduct of
yep,
as getting better. So I just want to improve on playing the champions I enjoy, but at the same time I just want to double down on
yeah, that's a
the
really really
champions that
good
I'm good
mindset to
at
have. That's really really good for you.
for sure.
Yep. So then let's get started. So the first thing that
Sweet.
I want you to understand is if you are trying to understand League as a whole, the jungle is probably one of the hardest positions to start with
Hmm.
because the problem is that jungle needs to understand how lanes work.
Okay.
Jungle needs to understand how lanes work. They need to know how lanes are manipulated to be in certain spots, as well as they need to understand when gank timings are proper and when they're useful.
That makes sense.
And if you don't have a very good understanding of how lanes work, then it's a really bad role to start with.
Hmm.
So preferably, if you could have started with like mid or top lane to learn the game, that would have been the best. I mean, but
Hmm.
we're here now, right? So
Yeah.
I'll leave you this choice. I think that it would be beneficial for you to just try and start playing lane on a separate ID,
Hmm.
and then just try and get that to the same MMR as this account. And then
Okay.
after that happens, then we can start talking about playing jungle in higher MMRs.
Okay.
And I think that's the best thing to do. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes absolutely like a lot of sense.
No, it's not about sense. What do you feel fine with doing that? Or
I feel like, um, hmm, dang, I don't know. You know, like that. feels like the most logical option. But
Right,
at the
but
same time, like
y-
biasedly, I feel like I have a decent understanding of wave management and like lane priorities and stuff like that. I started off by playing top lane, um, and then I moved to mid with like Lux and stuff like that. But I was just playing silver games, of course,
right.
and so I got like a decent understanding. But I just really found like jungle being able to be more of a carry role, and I was enjoying the most, uh, and then I was having fun learning through the jungle.
Okay, if that's the case, then we don't necessarily have to do this. It's just that I highly recommend doing this first, because
Okay.
then your jungling will improve as a result of it. It'll be easier for you to see what you need to do in the jungle role then.
Hmm.
That's why I say that this is the best thing to do.
Okay. Do you think uh, do you think that matters over like because of seeing what objectives are open based off of lane priority or what lanes that I'm able to gank based off my pathing
Yeah, let's
or
just
like
try and keep the wording simple because it's not like we really need to understand like macro game, right? Like
uh-huh.
I would say that up until like D1 master tier, no one understands macro, and
Okay.
all you really need to know about macro is just making sure that you can get as much gold as you can.
Absolutely.
That's all you really need to worry about. And if you can do that, then great job. You're doing the right thing.
Okay. So it's like should I be focusing more on like risk to reward?
No, well, not even risk to reward. It's just finding the gold that's free. So like
Okay.
if there are camps up, you should be farming those. If
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
lane CS and your laner is dead that you can pick up that.
Yeah.
If there's maybe, I don't know, like a free like if there's a timing for like getting for ganks off, like for example, if there is well, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain just in words because I kind of need a mini map to show you this stuff.
Yeah, I
But
get you.
if there's lanes that are gankable and you are near them, it is a waste to not to try and go for those.
Yeah.
But like understanding all this stuff comes down to, well, what does the lane look like? What's the lane matchup look like between the
Hmm.
champions in the lane? Is it realistic for you to get a kill? Is it unrealistic? Can
Yeah.
you, if you go for this gank, what do you give up for it? How many
Yeah,
jungle
that makes
camps do
sense.
you give up to your opponent? You know, and it starts to become a lot of questions that become more and more complex. For
Hmm.
laners, it's a lot more simple. It's very, very easy to understand what you need to do in lane. You CS properly, you trade properly, you solo kill your opponent, you collect the plates. You very, very cut and dry. It can get more complex, but for the most part, it's simple things that you need to focus on. In the jungle, it's not so simple, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I just felt like is so the jungle just has so many complexities and like
Yeah, it
so
does.
much stuff that you can expand on and learn, um, and that it's just such an important role.
Yeah, yeah, and
I
that's
just really
okay.
love that.
Look, man, all I'm saying is that if you were willing to learn the game as much as you can, I think that the best next thing to do would be to lane. If that isn't that important to you, that's okay. We can still go along with jungle. I'm just asking which way you want to go.
Yeah. As of now, I would really prefer going through the just staying as a jungle route. You know.
All right,
Um,
sure. That's no problem at
yeah,
all.
that's just how I feel most comfortable. I think.
Okay. So then the first thing I would want to do is let's try screen sharing and see if we
Okay.
can launch up a practice tool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I would like for us to see is just I want to watch you do your first clear as Xin Zhao.
Okay. I haven't played Zinzao too recently. I've been mainly playing J4 and stuff, but do you think I should stick to Zinzao?
I mean, he's your best champion, right?
I'd say Jarvan 4 and Nunu are definitely my best. I haven't played Zinzao. And...
Well, okay, if you feel like it, yeah, go for Jarvan.
Okay. Uh, let's see. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I can see this. So just
Sweet.
open up training, practice tool. Yep, you
No
can just
bots, yeah.
launch it. Yeah, you
All right.
don't need bots for solo clearing. Cool.
Rune wise, cool.
Yep, very cool skins.
Appreciate it, man.
Do you buy a lot of skins?
No, I mainly just typically the only things I buy are the passes. Like every other pass, I'll buy it the passes for tokens and stuff like that,
Oh, okay.
and I'll play based off the shards and stuff. But yeah,
Uh, are you in game yet? Because I'm only seeing the client.
oh, you only see client.
Yeah,
Um,
can't see the game itself yet.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I think the screen sharing is still
Oh wait, if you can do screen share screen or window instead of stream League of Legends, that would be better. Because then I can see your mouse as well.
okay. You can't see my mouse right now.
No.
Mm, You good?
I still can't see your mouse. That's weird.
Really? But you can see like
Yeah.
the tabs and stuff changing.
Yeah, I can see that. That's actually really weird.
Yeah, that's odd. What the heck?
Maybe they did something weird to this.
That's odd.
Oh well, I guess we'll just make do.
Yeah.
Yep. So what you'll
So
be doing is just a simple full clear. So you'll be going uh, red, Krugs, Raptors, Wolves, blue, Gromp.
absolutely,
And we'll see how long that takes for you to clear and how much HP you have at the end of it.
for sure.
You only need to wait about 15 seconds. Can't hit this fast forward button.
Yeah.
Oh, you can use Smite, right?
Yeah.
Just making sure that you know, because you're about to get your second charge.
Yeah, you're right.
No, no,
I
full
was
clear, full clear, full clear.
oh, wolves blue then Gromp.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. I was gonna do all of them, but I was just gonna go blue wolves into Gromp.
No, that wastes blue duration too much. You
You're
still
right.
have,
You're right.
by the way, you still have 2 stacks.
Yeah, typically after I do red, I usually use the my first charge of smite on um the big Krug.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting, but you didn't use it.
Yeah, I just felt like my clear had been better at that point.
I mean, you should still use it,
Yeah, you're right.
because you ended up wasting extra time. I actually wonder if Sharpen's supposed to be this unhealthy. Would you say that your early clear is normally supposed to be this low?
Honestly, personally, that I think I should have like maybe around the HP I have now, if not like maybe 30 more, um, like at a good clear. Especially if I would have smited the first Krog, or the big Krog in the beginning.
Cause
Um,
yeah, you also would have taken
and
a
then
lot less
usually
damage.
I take blue, and then I finish blue, and then smite the Gromp while I'm doing the blue, and then it comes over. But honestly, as of recent, I've been going red blue Gromp, gank top or mid or whatever, or invading, um,
Hmm.
contesting around scuttle and stuff like that. But full clear wise, I think I should be around the amount of HP I'm at now.
Okay, that doesn't feel so good. Cause I don't think that Jarvan should be this unhealthy on his first clear. I
Okay.
know that when I watch pro players and they're playing Jarvan,
Uh-huh.
they do have significantly more HP than you do. Like they at least
Okay.
have it half or more
Yeah, I don't think
when you
maybe I'm
finish a
just
clear.
not used to full clearing. Um,
Yeah.
I'm used to being more aggressive in the early game, so I would try and get level 3 as fast as possible with Gromp now being, being able to do both buffs and Gromp. I was doing that. I could redo or run it through again. Smite the first Krog if you want to see how that would go.
Yeah, I guess we can try it again. Alright, so unfortunately there's some weird bug that doesn't reset time in practice tool anymore.
Yeah,
So this is super annoying now.
I can just
You can skip a minute.
I was gonna say I can just spawn all the jungle camps.
Sure. Just make
Should
sure
all
that,
be level 1 and stuff.
yeah, they will be.
Oh yeah, because I'm level 1.
49.
But
Okay, I'll just,
cool,
from the time that you start it.
for sure. I'll start at 6.
Okay. Oh, by the way, just for the future, you don't have to burn spell or auto attacks on the smaller krugs when you have spells up. You can just let your AoE kill them. It's like,
My E.
yeah, like your E, and you can do a lot.
Okay,
Also, don't stand still when you're doing this. There's like no reason to.
for sure. Should I be kiting? I should be kiting
Yeah,
in
you
this
should be
brush off.
cutting towards whatever next objective that you should be going to. Like this is all fine. Yep, souls. Okay, it's interesting. You ended at the proper timing now, but I don't know, maybe Jarvan's just bad at clearing early. I thought that your early clear was actually quite
Probably
fine.
stronger
No, no, no. I meant like
or
you
like
clearing.
healthier. Sorry.
No, no, your clear looks right, but I
Uh-huh.
don't know why you're so low HP.
Yeah, I feel like
I would
I
imagine
don't
it
know.
has to be from Raptors. Like that's the only thing I could think of because you were standing still for so long that
Yeah,
the
you're right.
Raptors just get to maul you.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's pretty eye
that's the
opening
main
thinking
point,
about
and then the other main point was that you weren't kiting towards camps as you were clearing them before.
it.
But overall, like the time you ended at 305, which is a good timing to end on because then you're prepared to just run to whichever lane that you need to go to, as well as you're in timing for scuttle.
Mhm.
So the timing looks good. So I don't think it's a damage issue. I think it's probably going to be just figuring out how to properly kite the camps as you do
You're right.
them,
Okay.
because you shouldn't
And
be this unhealthy.
would you just say, for the most part, Raptors being the thing I should focus on kiting, or overall, was there anything else that you think I was kiting poorly?
I think the Raptors is the only one that was that bad because the Krugs camping was fine.
Okay.
Red looked fine to me. I mean, the blue camp actually looked a little bit weird because for the red camp you were doing something different where you were just getting two autos then moving away, but you didn't do
Uh-huh.
that for blue, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I was. It's because so typically I do three autos, so the buff only gets two hits when I'm autoing. But with Jarvan's E, it increases my attack speed to where I'm able to, when I have my E active, which I didn't have for blue buff, I used my shield, which I probably should have used my E and saved mana for. So I dropped my E on red buff, which allows me to do two autos for every one auto attack for the red buff.
Hmm.
So I'm able to be a lot more healthier, but I kind of hold still more around the red buff too, uh, because I can still land four autos for every two it lands while I have my E up. But I don't have enough attack speed for blue buff without my E being up,
Hmm.
um, to be able to do 2-to-1 ratio of autos.
Okay, that makes sense. I actually wonder though, because I thought that when I was reading Demacian Standard, it says you get the same passive buff.
It's passive while it's up, or sorry, not while it's like up, but while it's
Is
down
that
on
an
the
additional
floor.
20% for you as well then?
The passive that it shows right there in the
From
menu.
the active, yeah.
Um,
Because I thought that was just the innate passive that you already have.
yeah, that's something that's always confused me because
Well, let's test it. Come on,
so
go hit Grom,
where can I see that?
hit Grom,
Okay,
or
and just
rather,
keep autoing.
I mean, you can just drop E. If you drop E, it'll change your passive attack speed. So just
Okay,
place it.
wait, sorry, which one's my attack speed?
Just the
Oh, this one. Okay,
0.92. So just press E. Okay, so it does. Okay, never mind.
okay. So I
I figured that's
basically
how
have
it works.
40% extra. So it's 20 right now, 20 plus already right now,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I
okay,
get an
good.
extra 20
Yeah,
when
I
it's
was just
down.
making sure.
Okay.
So, the next thing that we can do is you can just hop out of the practice now.